In a tense forest scene, a mother bear struggled as her cub became stranded. Despite her best efforts, she couldn't rescue it. Just as despair set in, an unexpected hero appeared, offering a helping hand. Before dawn, mist wrapped around the pine trees while Daniel led a team of experienced climbers through the untouched forest. They aimed for the highest peaks, but fate had other plans. Suddenly, a loud roar broke the silence, echoing through the valley like a cry for help. It wasn't just a territorial sound, it was a desperate plea. The climbers stopped in their tracks, hearts racing together. They knew someone needed help. Daniel acted quickly. He signaled the team towards the source of the roar. Years of experience guided them through the thick bushes, their movements precise and swift. The roar came from Widow's Peak, known for its dangerous cliffs and eerie stories. As they approached the edge, they saw the scene unfold. A distressed bear paced on a narrow ledge, the source of the heartbreaking cries below. A small cub clung precariously, trying to climb up but slipping back down, whimpering in pain. The mother bear desperately clawed at the rocks, just out of reach of her cub. With every attempt, the cub slid further down. A knot of confusion tightened in Daniel's gut. Bears rarely use this treacherous slope. Why the sudden dangerous ascent? Questions lingered, but time was a luxury they didn't have. One misstep for the cub meant a fatal fall. The mother, fueled by panic, slammed her body against the ledge, sending a cascade of loose snow tumbling down. The precarious slope threatened to turn into an avalanche, burying the cub and any potential rescuer. The path was a jagged nightmare, impossible without proper equipment and time, hours for setting anchors and securing ropes, all under the watchful eye of a frantic mother. Being caught between a mother bear and her cub was a risk they weren't willing to take. Time was of the essence, but a reckless approach was a death sentence. With a shaky hand, Daniel pulled out his phone and dialed Mountain Rescue. Every second counted. A distant thrumming filled the air, growing louder with each passing moment. The helicopter. The mother bear, confused and scared, paced the ledge. The climbers watched, hope battling dread. As the chopper whirred into position, its blades whipping a frenzy of leaves around the cliff face, the rescue began in earnest. A rescuer dangled precariously from the chopper, carefully scooping the cub into a secure net. A silent thumbs up, and the wind strained as man and cub rose skyward. The mother bear roared in fury, watching her cub snatched away by the metal bird. Pacing the ledge, she dislodged more snow, triggering a mini avalanche that thankfully missed the distant climbers on board the chopper. The team assessed the cub, battered and bleeding from its rocky descent. It whimpered in pain as a rescuer tended to its wounds, applying ointment to prevent infection. Back at the ledge, the rescuer descended again, cradling the cub. The mother reared, stretching her arms high in a primal plea. In a surreal moment, man and bear met, the cub returning to its mother's warm embrace. Relief washed over the climbers as they witnessed the reunion. A gentle nuzzle replaced the bear's ferocious roars, her guttural growls transforming into soft murmurs. But their celebration was short-lived. With a sharp eye, Maya spotted a troubling detail: poacher markings on a nearby tree. A horrifying realization dawned. The desperate climb, the treacherous slope. The mother bear had been fleeing poachers. This path, a suicidal climb for most, was her last refuge. The helicopter may have saved the cub, but it had inadvertently exposed their location. The poachers were now aware of the mother bear's den. The wildlife they just saved was now under renewed threat. Their mountain climb had become a fight for survival. Enraged, the climbers pushed deeper into the forest, searching for any sign of poacher activity. Led by Daniel, they followed a newly discovered trail, a path fraught with danger, both natural and human-made. The forest closed in, sunlight filtering through a dense canopy, casting long shadows that played tricks on their eyes. A sudden rustle in the undergrowth sent chills down their spines, hands instinctively reaching for non-existent weapons. But it was only a flash of red fur, a curious fox disappearing into the bushes. They emerged into a clearing, the sight before them chilling them to the bone. Signs of poachers were everywhere: a smoldering fire, scattered supplies, and a map marking designated zones. This wasn't a random group of hunters. This was a well-organized poaching ring, and they were coming back. The urgency crackled in the air. To shield the forest creatures, they had to act fast. Maya's idea: a hidden observation post using nature's camouflage. They hunkered down for a tense stakeout, silence broken only by birdsong and rustling leaves, stretching their patience thin as twilight lengthened shadows. Movement flickered at the edge of their vision. Poachers from their leafy den. Daniel and Maya watched, a knot of unease tightening in their stomachs with every poacher's move. This wasn't just a game. These were ruthless threats to the wildlife. Daniel, with a sliver of reception, managed to call the wildlife authorities. The wait was agonizing. Every minute stretched into an eternity. The poachers, a constant menacing presence, fear and determination warring within them. Then, the tension shattered. The screech of approaching vehicles cut through the stillness. Wildlife rangers, armed and ready, swarmed the poacher camp. The takedown was swift. The poachers apprehended before they could react. Relief washed over them as the rangers secured the area. They'd stopped the poachers, but the ordeal had left its mark. Exhausted both physically and emotionally, they debriefed with the rangers, but their mission wasn't over. Now aware of the forest's dark underbelly, Daniel decided they couldn't leave. Helping the rangers set up long-term protection measures became their new focus. Exhaustion finally claimed Cole and Gabriel, who crashed into their tents as night painted the sky with stars. Maya, the eternal photographer, lingered, adjusting her camera for the sunrise, a legendary sight in these parts. Lost in the viewfinder, she initially missed the flicker of light and the unnatural hum that pierced the forest's symphony. Unease prickled her skin. Following her instincts, she tipped it away, heart hammering as her eyes adjusted. A scene ripped from a bad movie unfolded. Armed figures clad in mismatched military garb moved with practiced silence. They were headed straight for the camp. Panic surged. Maya raced back to wake Cole, but he slept soundly. Time was a luxury they didn't have. She sprinted to Daniel's tent. A frantic touch was his only wake-up call. One look at Maya's terror-stricken face told Daniel everything. They vanished into the shadows as the campsite erupted in harsh flashlight beams. Hidden, they watched as the group, led by a tough-looking man named Blackball, stormed the camp. He barked questions about the missing group, accusing them of interfering with his operations. With a cold command, Blackball's men bound Cole and Gabriel. The camp descended into chaos. Tents in gear went up in flames, a brutal act of revenge. From the darkness, Daniel and Maya watched a new nightmare unfolding. What began as a fight against poachers had morphed into a hostage crisis. They couldn't stay hidden. They had to act. Blackball's men herded a dazed Cole and Gabriel away from the burning wreckage of their camp. Following at a safe distance, Daniel and Maya weaved through the undergrowth, their hearts pounding a frantic rhythm. They tracked the kidnappers for hours until they stumbled upon an unexpected find. A hidden settlement deep in the forest, a chilling sign of the poachers' operations. Maya managed to snap grainy photos and videos as their friends were locked in a makeshift cage, igniting a fire in Daniel and Maya. Gear worn and resolve tested, they witnessed a bear and her cub emerge, briefly startling them before the bears charged the poachers' camp. Chaos erupted, allowing Daniel and Maya to free Cole and Gabriel. As they fled, poachers subdued one bear, but the others roared back into the forest. Adrenaline surged as they raced through the night, finally collapsing at a ranger outpost. Their frantic account of the poacher camp and bear intervention began.